we have to at least mention there was a couple things in the NBA that happened. Let's do the unimportant stuff first. Josh Giddey, he got traded to the Bulls for Alex Caruso. That's it, just 1-for-1. Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso.
It's a crazy swap.
Yeah, the Thunder definitely got better with that trade, and I think both teams got better. Not gonna hold you. I think Josh Giddey is good.
Yeah, he's good,
even though he's played bad at times, but he just wasn't really the right fit. So outside of that, Monty Williams, he got fired by the Detroit Pistons, and now their interim head coach will be Stephen Silas. And we all know Greg hates Stephen Silas, even though he acts like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. You don't like that man for whatever reason.
I hope he does well.
No, you don't. But Monty Williams, he got fired 1 year into like his like $65 million contract or whatever. So and they got to pay him. So he's chilling. He's doing great, I guess. Maybe not because he probably wants to coach, but whatever.
You don't want to.
And then
he does not want to coach Detroit.
And then the big coaching acquisition happened, and Shams was right. Woj tried to step on it, but no, Shams was right. JJ Redick is the new head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he's getting something in the range of like $8 million a year or something like that. So, I'm not the biggest fan of this acquisition in particular because I think JJ Redick, he's going to be a good coach. I think he will be a good coach, just not for the Lakers. He might take like a Jason Kidd path out. Jason Kidd, he was the coach for either it was the Nets or the Bucks first.
It was the Bucks, then the Nets, then Dallas.
Regardless, Jason Kidd, he had to have a couple stops first before becoming the NBA Finals coach that he is now. So I think the same sort of career path could happen for JJ. I don't think he's going to really see success on the Lakers, frankly, because I do not think the Lakers are a good basketball team.
Right.
So unless the Lakers decide to just, okay, let's embrace this rebuild. We have horrible contracts. We're not really getting no money like that for real. LeBron's our lifeblood, blah, blah, blah. Even though LeBron, he's a free agent right now, but I think he can pick up his option or decline it. I don't know, but they need to figure something out where they can trade LeBron so they can get some pieces back and just really start over. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, this is a very, very weird situation. But at the same time, the Lakers are not a traditional kind of, or they just do things.
Nothing about them has been traditional ever.
Never in their life. You know, even understanding that Jeannie Buss banished Jerry West and revoked his season tickets after Jerry West took issue with Jeannie Buss dating one of the team's head coaches. You know what I mean? It's just some things that just don't really.
Unserious franchise. Yes, they've had a whole lot of success. Still completely unserious.
And now you have somebody with zero coaching experience, zero head coaching experience. And now you can't convince me that JJ Redick was coaching for interviewing for his job on that podcast.
I think that podcast definitely had, I don't know how much it had, but I don't think it had as much to do with it as you're giving it. I think it just had a little bit to do with it. I think really Jeannie Buss, she saw the podcast, like she knew LeBron and JJ were doing the podcast. She saw the podcast. She was like, interesting. Because a lot of former players or analysts or whatever, or like former coaches, really, they go on like sports shows, podcasts, doing commentary and stuff like that to sort of let prospective employers know, like, hey, this is my thought process. This is what I know about the game. And it impresses people. That's why people get hired. Like, that's why Steve Kerr got hired from because he was commentating and stuff. That's why Jeff Van Gundy keeps getting asked back and stuff like that. So,
but he was a coaching staff. He was on somebody's coaching staff at some point.
He was on the coaching staff, and then he's no longer on that coaching staff. And I think they get these commentary gigs a lot of times so they can bring themselves back to the forefront. Like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. Hey, I can do this. So I think that's stuff like that helps a lot.
For sure. But you never seen something like JJ Redick where all you know is the commentating. Like essentially what JJ Redick is.
I don't think Steve Kerr ever coached before he got to the Warriors. I could be wrong, but
like he was a part of like front offices. Like he was a part of like the coaching staff stuff, at least with San Antonio. Now, granted, he never coached before doing X.
Nah, he never coached at San Antonio.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying that he's never coached. I'm saying like he's been a part of that staff. He's been a part of like that front.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So it's just like essentially no disrespect to JJ Redick, but the way I look at JJ Redick is how I look at a nigga like Jeff Saturday. You were a player, you commentated, and now you're a head coach for an organization. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how people was calling the Colts a laughingstock and like, what the fuck are you niggas doing? And was just like, yo, this is an unserious ass hire. And granted, there are people that saying the same thing for the Lakers, but it looks a little bit more accepted than somebody like Jeff Saturday. And I'm just like, it looks like the same thing to me. To me, it just looks like the same thing. Now, well, and people want to talk about Mark Jackson. I'm like, okay, bet, cool. You want to talk about Mark Jackson not being a head coach before? He won 23 games his first season as a head coach. Do you feel like the Lakers fans will be pleased with JJ Redick winning you 23 games for the Los Angeles Lakers? The answer is no.
At all.
Y'all fired an NBA. Y'all fired an NBA coach that gave you a championship.
And Frank Vogel's not a bad coach. Everybody hating on Frank. Frank Vogel's not a bad coach.
Hired JJ Redick and Mike Budenholzer still doesn't have a job. I just want to put that out.
I think people just don't like Mike Budenholzer, honestly.
I don't know. He's an NBA champion, so I don't know. Who knows? I would say Monty, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.